Today's episode of Chat and Chew is sponsored by Be Positive Productions and Multimedia Studios, LLC. I like to think of imagination as something akin to a superpower. Used in the right context for good, it can help bolster our aspirations and propel us closer to our goals. We visualize the outcome of our accomplishments and work toward attaining said thing. However, when used to propagate untruths, reality can become distorted. We no longer know what's real and what's not. The more often we repeat something to ourselves, the more likely it is to become our truth, and the lines between perception and reality begin to blur. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is a wrap. Please make sure you follow us on Facebook, like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and of course, hit the bell to activate notifications that will remind you when we're on. Please be sure to leave us a comment to let us know how we're doing. We'd love to hear from you.
Have you ever considered the value of your God-given gifts? What if I told you you were worth at least $1 million? Join us Sunday, October the 27th at Christ Worship Center for an incredible two services, 9 a.m. and 11 a.m. with Pastor Ricky Harrell and Dr. Brenda Harrell. My name is Dr. Glen Warren, and I'll be sharing thoughts from the Word of God of the power of your talent, how to multiply your gift, sow into your future, and open doors you never thought possible. Whether you are in a business, ministry, or pursuing of your personal dream, your gifts and your talent are designed to grow, to bring you abundance, and just as equally importantly, be a blessing to others. This is your moment to unlock your potential. Invite your family and friends and come to discover the true value of the gifts God placed inside of you. You have the gift, now it's time to multiply them. Look at your neighbor and tell them, I am worth at least $1 million. Welcome once again to Chat and Chew broadcast. I am Dr. Glen Warren, and I'll invite you to come and be a part of our broadcast. To the Facebook family, please like us and share us. To YouTube, hit that little button and share us with your audience. And today we have a special guest. I think we've talked to her before. Commissioner, I know we have back probably in the early part of the year. We had a conversation with her. We invited her back again to talk about some work that she's been doing for the last 6 or 7 months and the work that she's going to continue to do in the community. And so this is Commissioner Terry Waters. And today I want her to kind of focus on what is her plan for our communities, our families, to go through Wake County. And we want to get a good insight of what is some of the initiatives that she want to put in place that could create opportunities, support families, and build a stronger community. So welcome to our studio, Commissioner Terry Waters. Yes.
Well, thank you, Dr. Warren. It's really good to be back here again. It feels like we just had a recent conversation, yes, and it feels like home being in the studio with you. So really excited to share what has been going on since we last spoke. And for those of you who don't know me, again, my name is Tara Waters, and I have the distinct pleasure of representing many of you on the Wake County Board of Commissioners in District 5. District 5 includes a portion of Knightdale, a portion of Garner, and Southeast Raleigh. So it's a really important district. It is rich in history, rich in culture, rich in vibrancy, and it is a place that we all see so much growth and prosperity. And so I am proud to represent all of Wake County. I've heard people say that I do work from animals to zoning, but we like to think of it from Apex to Zebulon. So A to Z, we do everything that we can to be able to support and ensure that families have a high quality of life in Wake County.
Yeah. So how did you get, I heard you're from Florida. How did you end up way in Wake County?
Well, I like to say that I had a praying mother who wanted us to move to a community that had a thriving and vibrant opportunity for our children. And so we ended up in Wake County from a rural town in Florida, and it changed the trajectory of my life because of our great school system. I'm a product of the Wake County Public School, graduate of Millbrook High School, and then went on to North Carolina State University and East Carolina University. But I really am grateful for the Wake County Public School System, and I'm a strong supporter of our public schools.
Yeah, so you have a very intensive resume. Going back and looking over some of the impressive things you've done in your career is very impressive. We had Dr. Terrence Huth on our broadcast a few, actually 2 days ago, and he's a very advocate of education, as you are. And so, how, as a parent, how does that influence your decisions when you start to make policies?
That is really key to why I started serving. So my first elected office was as a member of the Wake County School Board. And I did that because I wanted to ensure that families like mine had voice in the decision-making process. And so when I sit in any elected position, I sit in the same seat that many of those that I represent. I sit as a mother of 2 school-age children. I sit as a single parent. I sit as one who works in the public sector. I sit as a homeowner and a taxpayer. So I have the same lived experience as the people that I represent. And so when I think about advocating for other children, I advocate for other children as strongly as I would for my own. Mm-hmm. And so it's an honor to be able to serve and to advocate for all of our neighbors.
Okay, so talk about your platform, your campaign. What are some of the key platforms that your campaign is running on in this particular race?
Well, I'd really like to just continue to talk about how wonderful our county is. Wake County attracts about 51 new residents every single day.
Every single day?
Every day. And so we're adding a lot of people to our community. And it's important that we are set up so that those who are here also have the opportunity to thrive. So we welcome those who are coming in, but we want to make sure that we have a way for those who are here to be able to move up in economic prosperity. And one of those keys is to ensure that everybody has stable housing. That is so critical.
Right. And we're going to get to that in a few minutes, but housing is a major, and one of the things that we do at Fathers Forever here is house guys who are coming back from incarceration. We have 5 transition homes in Wake County, have a total of 38 beds, and the guys stay with us for 90 days. And how important it is for them to be able to come back to a community with those kind of support that allowed them the opportunity to kind of get themselves together. They paid their dues to society, if you will. They made some bad choices, and now they, got incarcerated, but now they're back. And that lived experience now, creates a lot of drama in itself. As we were talking about it earlier, anybody who goes to prison have experienced a lot of drama. What are some of the things on your platform you want to do for men and women, for that matter, but particularly us that we're talking about, for men when they're entering back into the community from incarceration?
Well, first, I want to commend you for having the resources in place. And so it's really important that we are able to address the barriers to success as we welcome our community members back into society. And part of that is to ensure that there's opportunity for housing, which is really important. And so looking to partner with agencies that can fill that gap. My background is as an adult educator. I spent almost 2 decades in the community college system. And so workforce development is really a key to that. And removing barriers that make it difficult for people who want to work to be able to find employment. And so making sure that we have programs and resources that can connect and remove the hardship that it can often be to find employment and to also get all the resources that are needed. Sometimes there are fees and fines and other issues. And so making sure that we invest in our community members so that they can have a high quality of life and continue to contribute and be successful and connect with their families, because we're all so connected and we have to make sure that each other are successful.
Okay. So in some cases, I am a retired social worker for Wake County Human Services, and I did a lot of advocating for fathers to come back in the community. They struggle with mental health, they struggle with substance abuse issues, and they come back now to their homes, maybe with their parents, or maybe sometimes their wives, their girlfriends, and they are not allowed now to go living uh, housing, public housing, because now they are felon. So you got the wife, and you got the mom, you got the family who wants to provide a housing for their family member, because I mean the kids are living there, the wife is living there, but the system is designed that they can't go back to that place because it's public housing. What can we do what can you do as a county commissioner to start trying to address some of those issues and maybe change some of those policies that disallow this man to come back to his family? And because without he's just at our incarceration, they can't really afford to go out and buy a house. So now he's punished, so to speak, and he can't come back to his house, and he may go visit his family, but in the morning time, he's got to go before the social worker can get there. What are some of the things that we can do to change those policies that these fathers down to be able to come and reside with their family members who desire to help them?
Well, we have to definitely take a holistic approach to address all of the things that you mentioned. You mentioned mental health. You mentioned a lot of issues that can make it difficult. Unfortunately, a lot of housing programs have federal guidelines that make it difficult for families to stay connected, but the county is in the midst of developing its next housing plan and making sure that as we do the work that we plan and have allowances for community members who have very unique situations to be successful. And so making sure that our community engagement efforts include the men that you're describing and the women that you're describing, because that may be a gap that we haven't put enough resource into to making sure that families can stay together, because we all know that outcomes are better when you have both parents engaged in the lives of a child. And so making sure that we are aware of the gap in service there and having programs that are intentional to address those gaps, and then encouraging individuals who are directly impacted to continue to tell their stories and to tell other elected officials up at the state and the federal level about these hardships, and look to make policy changes that can really help connect families and ensure that we don't continue a cycle that makes it challenging for fathers to be in the lives of their children.
Right. Because sometimes we make it very hard for people not to reoffend.
We do.
Because they get out now and they can't go back to the family members because of that. And so they end up going back to what they know, which is drugging or selling drugs or whatever. They end up get caught again, and this cycle just could continue to escalate out of control. And so one of the other questions I want to talk to you about is the challenging that we have. We talk about affordable housing, education, and other things that fathers struggle with when they're getting out. How can we help prepare these fathers in the realm of education and helping them get some kind of certificate, some kind of certification, some kind of training? I know a lot of prisons now are not doing a lot of the training inside the prison, and we got a lot of interreach services now that are reaching inside the prison before they get out to try to engage them, like the local interest center, try to engage these fathers. What kind of support can the county do in addition to helping these fathers get back on their feet?
And that's a really important question. And so from a county level, we like to think we support education from our youngest to our most senior, and we are invested in education along that continuum. So we invest in pre-K programs such as 3 School. We invest in the public school system. We invest in Wake Tech, and we invest in other programs through the Capital Area Workforce Development. And so making sure that we have programming that is specifically geared toward addressing those barriers to employment, whether those are interview skills, resume writing, or career exploration. I spent almost 2 decades in the community college system working at Wake Tech, and all of the 58 community colleges are required to have a program called Human Resources Development. Those courses are available at no cost to job seekers who are in transition, and so that helps connect with the next stage. It may be an entry-level position, but then to develop those skills and to strengthen that resume, to fill in that gap and continue to work toward higher wages and toward that living wage, and really promoting our society to bring in employers who believe in a living wage and employers who believe in investing in our neighbors who may have had some justice involvement and giving opportunity. Opportunity is often what is needed for individuals to be successful, and also not forgetting entrepreneurship. I was at a training recently, and the ability for entrepreneurs to overcome those wealth disparities is really powerful. So looking at different ways for individuals to be successful, whether it's through traditional income streams, through entrepreneurship, and through the investment of education, it's a really a holistic approach.
Right. So we have a lot of guys, they're gifted, they're talented, and they haven't been able to, for whatever reason, tap into those giftings and talent and whatever, it's lots of reasons. How can we create some innovative programs that the county can support and fund? Because a lot of times, the funding for fathers, the funding has been very selective. It's not very, if you had 4 nonprofits, I'll tell you, we're talking about it before. One was a woman nonprofit, one was a man, one was a child, and one was an animal. The fatherhood program would get the last funding. The animal would get the most by far. And then maybe the women, maybe the kids, then the women, but the father, that we're going to get what's left if there's any left. So this father who is expected to be at least part of the breadwinner now, have very little training, very little education, but yet we expect him to go out and try to make a good living without the support that we need. How can we come up with some creative, innovative funding to help support companies who want to start programs to help free fathers identify their gifts and start to get some training and some skills? Because it's one thing to have a gift, it's another thing to have the skill level to walk out that gift.
Absolutely. And I want to affirm how important it is that we look at things from a new lens. I think there are certain traditions that haven't always centered the importance of fathers. Mother is always present. Mothers are very important. Also making sure that we're providing those support for fathers, which is critical in the work that you're doing to elevate that need. And so I think in order to be successful in any endeavor, you've got to have all the stakeholders and key decision makers at the table. And so making sure that we connect you with the county staff who can let you know about what are the opportunities that exist within the county, and also what other streams of funding are available and what other venues can you increase those skill levels, can increase the ability to tap in those natural gifts and talents as an income stream. For example, again, with Wake Tech, having entrepreneurship programs, those small business centers, a lot of funding is available through that and training as well. And so we have a lot of mentorship programs. And so just sitting down, I think it would be a conversation of who are the key stakeholders that we need to bring to the table to help address what we're seeing as a disparity within our county, and the continued work that we're doing to invest in the Capital Area Workforce Development Board.
Yeah. The local regional program, we work closely together with. They fund a lot of our guys going back to school, to get the certification in truck driving, flagging, faultlifting certification, and it's been very, very creative but the funding runs out sometimes, and then there's a gap between the services. They come in and we can refer 15 to 20 guys. Every, once a month, we refer 10 guys for 4 or 5 months, and then the funding went out, and those things are not available anymore. And now those people can't be trained. So how can we figure out how to fix some of those gaps? And I know that it's funded, to the state or federal or whatever, but a lot of times when the funding runs out, these guys also have an opportunity to get the certification that they need. And it's a big difference.
Well, I'll tell you, a large part of the funding that the state or the county has, we have many things that we're mandated to do, but then we also have programs that we invest in. And so every year we have a budget season that we go through, and that is the perfect window to express what funding gaps that you feel are present within the county. So we had a budget hearing. It's my first budget season that I went through earlier this year. In our budget hearing, we heard very strong response from supporters of public schools and for our early education. And so those are venues for you to elevate the voice. And at every Board of Commissioners meeting, we have the opportunity for citizens to come and address the full board. You have 7 commissioners typically there to listen to you for 3 solid minutes, and you'll have the county manager as well as the county attorney and key staff, And so coming forward using that platform is critical. I have stressed this so many times. Last night we had, or in a recent meeting, rather, I should say, we had individuals who came to advocate for a particular issue, and that puts it at front of mind. But when community members have these needs and don't express them through that body, it's hard for us to know that the need even exists. And so we do have certain organizations that are really good about expressing, hey, we have a gap here. And they express it by reaching out to their commissioners, by attending meetings, by voicing those things. And so it's important that we hear from our constituents about what gaps are existing in the community.
I mentioned you mentioned earlier that you were a single mom, still is, and I was a single father, raised my 3 kids from 7, 9 to 11. Being single, could be having a lot of demands and a lot of challenges, financially, getting support that you need for babysitters, those kind of things. We get lots of calls every week about a father calling us and saying, I'm a single father, I got my 2 kids, and I need a place to stay. And we don't have housing for that. I know there's a platform we could try to talk about, and this is a gap that we can try to figure out how we're going to get some funds. So when those fathers call, we'll be able to say, hey, we can put you up for a month. We can help you find a place to stay at. And I know how housing is so important. I mean, if the average person didn't know where they're going to lay their head at that night, how challenging it would be for us if I didn't know that I had a home to go to.
Absolutely.
And a place to safety, and especially if I got kids.
Absolutely.
So it's nerve-wracking. It's a lot of challenges. And so I'm trying to, figure out a way how we can, as a community, to advocate for more affordable housing, which is what we've been talking about. And not only that, now, but if we shift over into the insurance, if we shift over to the healthcare, if we shift over to the mental health part, all of that, to be homeless, it's got to be depressing.
Absolutely.
In itself. And so what are some of the things that your platform or your campaign may come address some of those mental health issues that's so relevant in our community?
Well, we certainly have seen the need for an investment in behavioral health supports. Particularly, I think the pandemic really brought attention to the need and how important it is, and removed a lot of the stigma behind individuals being able to access those supports. And so I'm a supporter of investment in our behavioral health systems. We partner with a lot of different organizations that have the expertise there. And so I'm a big supporter of that investment. I believe it will help address some of the other issues. So you got to address the whole person and help them address those barriers. And so behavioral health is an important part of that.
Yeah. Again, mental health, men in particular, we have sometimes a hard time telling people, what we struggle with depression. And a lot of times our substance abuse issue is connected to that depression, where we're trying to now medicate our pain by doing drugs and alcohol. Sometimes just the fear of hopelessness, the feeling of hopelessness. And so what I envision in a community is the government working, in concert with the local organizations, the local 501(c)(3)s, and we coming together and we finding a vehicle, finding a way to kind of fix some of this gap between services that we can provide communities with the help that they need for better families. In light of the post-pandemic, we've been, as parents, we just got through the pandemic. We just barely, got through, but we haven't thought about. Now we're trying to address some of the issues that our kids
absolutely
faced. Because we were in a survival mode. We just got to get out of this, and we got to stay alive, and we got to go to work. So we just put the kids, and we did the best we can do. But now that post-pandemic, 2 years thereabouts, we are having to see a lot of kids now with mental health issues are now coming to fruition. What can the county commissioner do to help kind of fill those gaps?
Well, I can speak as a parent. I was homeschooling my child during the pandemic and having two boys in the home during that time, and the isolation was very apparent. And when school reopened for my older child, I definitely saw a need for him to engage in activities to connect with his peers and to connect with others. The social skills were not the same as many others who had not gone through that experience during those really critical years. So the investment in social, emotional learning supports in our public schools is really important to that, and giving children the access to be able to connect with those resources and with a real commitment to what our young people are in need of, and just raising awareness around issues. We are in the stage in society where we're seeing suicide numbers increase among very young children. And so having the conversations and making the resources available to children is really important. And a lot of that happens in the public school system.
So you guys are really, really involved in the school system. And I really, thank you for the opportunity to come and share with our audience some of the things on your platform that you plan to do. And I really, as a parent, single parents, as a parent and being a politician, there is a blending there, because you know what your struggles are. So you can really identify with a lot of parent struggles.
Absolutely.
That they're going through in trying to live this life, do life, take care of your family, take care of your kids, and take care of your own mental health. Absolutely. What are some of the things that you do to take care of your own mental health?
I think that's a really important question. You have to put in some self-care. I wear a lot of different hats. And so I have perilled the life of many of the members of communities that I represent. And so I am in carpool in the morning. I am working in the government sector. I am representing on the county commission. So it doesn't often leave a lot of time for those personal investments in self. And so that's something that I've been working on, how to better prioritize my own health. And so to be able to really serve the community, how to do that with health. And one of the things that I've been committed to recently is removing chronic stress. What are things that I can eliminate from my life that are, causing me to not have good sleep hygiene? Sleep is really important. Having good diet and including exercise. All those things are things that I'm working into my own life as I represent, because I want to be able to do this for the long haul and to make sure that people feel that they have a voice at the table and somebody who understands their experience.
Right. So, in closing, food. There's a lot of families that's still struggling financially, that's not been able to feed their families. We get calls. We have a food bank, a local food bank, and people come. Sometimes we are running out of food to give people. What kind of some of the things that the county commissioner can do to help bring more food into the community and helping those that are suffering from not having the resources to buy the food they need for their families?
Well, food security is really important. I am seeing more and more families who may not qualify on paper for the needs for financial support, but who have that need. And so a lot of that work is making sure that we have an investment. So personally, I'm committed to doing what I can to help increase the number of public schools that offer universal free lunch.
Right.
So that list is expanded, and I have a child that attends a school where there's universal free lunch. And so when he gets out in the morning at carpool, they say, do you want to go to breakfast? And he doesn't have to worry about paying for it or any of the children in his school, and there's no stigma there. So I would love to see expansion there. That does come from, a partnership at the federal level, the state level, the county level.
Yes.
And so that advocacy is really important, in investing in agencies that are available in our community to do that, and also being good stewards over the resource. We are a economically rich community, and we have a lot of food waste, and looking for how we can be smart about distributing food and making sure that people are fed. I think there's a lot of work that can be done there. And so as a newcomer to this role, I am getting connected with our food security group and getting involved in learning more about what that looks like in the long term.
Right. So I know we just got to wrap up. But, food is, we grew up, it was hardly poor, but we didn't know we was poor. We ate 3 meals a day. We grew up in a country. And so food was never, we grew our own food. It was never a problem for my family. Thank God that we had that resource. Not that we were rich, but because we grew our own food. It was plentiful of it. But when I was raising my kids, and I made too much money to qualify for the free lunch. I got reduced lunch, which was a big help, but there was still, $5 a day, and that adds up for 3 kids. At your shoestring budget, that makes a big difference. So those 3 meals, those 3 lunches, those 3 is something that, and I know the state level do a lot of things, and the federal level do a lot of things, and maybe sometimes the county can fix some of those gaps that's in there. They help those families and those parents and those moms and their dads can get the food, because a kid shouldn't go to school hungry.
Absolutely. It is certainly a barrier to learning.
Yeah, exactly. So as we wrap up, I want you to look into one of these cameras right here and just talk to our audience about your campaign or your contact information, anything you want them to know to support you.
Once again, I'm Tara Waters, a really proud representative of District 5 on the Wake Board of Commissioners. It's an honor to serve, and I welcome hearing from you if I can be of support. You can email me at tara.waters@wake.gov. That's tara.waters@wke.gov. And you're also invited to any Board of Commissioners meeting to lift up your voice during our public comment period, because it helps us to make decisions that are based upon the needs of our community. Thank you for your time.
Okay. Thank you so much for being once again, Tara Waters, Commissioner Tara Waters. And we look forward to you. I know last time we was putting together a proposal to get into that space you was talking about. We're going to make it happen this time. I promise you. We're going to make it happen. And I'm glad that you came up being part of our podcast. To those at home, please tune in again to our Chat 2 broadcast. Until we meet again, I'll say so long. Here's 3 ways you can support our Dads at a Distance initiative. Give a copy to a family member, a friend. Please. Donate monthly, a book monthly, 5 books monthly, how many books you want to do monthly donation. Reverse book signing, your church, your business. You can make a donation go to our website at www.afatherforever.com and go to our PayPal at Fathers Forever. Our Cash App is $Fathers Forever. Make your donation today. Please include in the note section, include DAAD. Again, it's include in the note section DAAD.
If you or someone you know would like to be a part of the show, please visit our website at www.afatherforever.com or call us at 919-779-9905. The Chat and Chew podcast streams Thursdays at 8 p.m. on YouTube and Facebook. To schedule a reverse book signing or to find out more information about how you can become a part of the programs you heard us mention today, please be sure to stop by our website as well.
Hello, everyone. This is Glen Warren, founder and executive director of Fathers Forever. I want to share an alarming reality with you. 627,000 fathers are incarcerated that have kids under 18. Now, there are 56,000 moms incarcerated who have kids under 18. The reality is there are so many more fathers incarcerated than moms. This is why I Am a Father Forever book exists. Now, I need your help. I am inviting you to help us get this book into as many fathers incarcerated as possible. Here's how it works. For your donation of $22, we will provide a book to an incarcerated father. Thank you in advance for helping Fathers Forever heal fathers and save families. you ever considered the value of your God-given gifts? What if I told you you were worth at least $1 million? Join us Sunday, October the 27th at Christ Worship Center for an incredible two services, 9 a.m. and 11 a.m. with Pastor Ricky Harrell and Dr. Brenda Harrell. My name is Dr. Glen Warren, and I'll be sharing thoughts from the Word of God of the power of your talent, how to multiply your gift, sow into your future, and open doors you never thought possible. Whether you are in a business, ministry, or pursuing of your personal dream, your gifts and your talent are designed to grow, to bring you abundance, and just as equally importantly, be a blessing to others. This is your moment to unlock your potential. Invite your family and friends and come to discover the true value of the gifts God placed inside of you. You have the gift, now it's time to multiply them. Look at your neighbor and tell them, I am worth at least $1 million.